state. On the foreign scene, at least 7 Ugandan opposition supporters killed overnight as President Museveni takes strong lead in presidential election. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alame. A Rivers High Court sitting in Oyigbo local government area has stepped into the escalating political crisis in the state, issuing an interim injunction that temporarily halts further action on the impeachment process against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Maudu. In a ruling delivered in Port Harcourt, the court restrained the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Emeule, alongside 32 other defendants, including the clerk of the House and the Chief Judge of Rivers State, from taking steps aimed at advancing the impeachment process. Specifically, the order by the Chief Judge Justice Simeon Chibozo Amadi from receiving, forwarding, considering or acting in any request, resolution or impeachment-related document from the Assembly for the purpose of constituting an investigative panel pending the determination of the matter. The court also directed that the Chief Judge listed that the 32nd defendant be served through any staff of the judiciary at his chambers within the court premises. Earlier, the Rivers State House of Assembly had called on the Chief Judge of the state to set up a panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu. The State Assembly vowed to continue with the impeachment process against the governor and his deputy. Lawmakers who addressed a live press conference in Port Harcourt accused Fubara of blackmail, saying he lacked the trust needed to address the crisis rocking the oil-rich state. They accused the governor of infringing on the 1999 Constitution, saying the parliament was left with no other choice but to apply their legislative power by impeaching him from office. The lawmakers also claimed the governor and his deputy had resorted to intimidating the parliament.
Pursuant to this section of the Constitution, I seek your leave to immediately put this to vote on that note. Members who are in support that the notice of allegations of gross misconduct against His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of the State, be investigated should indicate by raising their hands. Please do the count. Against distinguished colleagues, by this voting, the Rivers State House of Assembly has resolved that investigations against allegations of gross misconduct leveled against His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, Governor of Rivers State, should proceed to the next level, which is investigation, and by virtue of Section 188, subsection 5, I will ensure that the resolution of this House is immediately communicated to the Chief Judge of Rivers State.
In a twisted development, former members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who recently withdrew from the impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara have reversed their decision and declared support for the process. Lawmakers are the minority leader of the House, Sylvanus Nwankwo, Peter Abe, representing the Gema constituency, Barling Nwako of Kana constituency 1, and Emilia Amadi of Obio Akpo constituency 2. The lawmakers made the U-turn on Friday during a live broadcast aired from the front of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex, days after publicly calling for an amicable resolution of political crisis rocking the state. Also speaking, Wako and Amadi said they decided to back the impeachment after conclusions that the governor and his deputy had shown no willingness to resolve the crisis through dialogue. The House, led by Speaker Martin Mewle, had last week commenced impeachment proceedings against the governor and his deputy over alleged gross misconduct. The allegations included demolition of the assembly complex and the alleged spending of public funds without legislative approval.
As you recall, we made a plea to our colleagues to seek for a political solution to this impasse that is going on between the assembly and the governor of Rivers State. During the pendency of this appeal, we found out that the governor and the deputy governor, they have all employed their media boys and aides to continuously attack the Rivers State House of Assembly instead of seeking for the political solution which we offered. It is on this basis that I, Honorable Silvana Swankwo, and my fellow colleague here, Honorable Peter Abe, is saying that the impeachment proceedings should continue.
We have resolved to proceed with the impeachment process. We had earlier taken a position to consider a political solution, but the governor and deputy governor are ignoring us. They are insisting that they will not govern in line with the Constitution and that nothing will happen.
I'm from Andoni, the same federal constituency with the governor. People should stop bringing tribal sentiment. It's not by emotion. It's to look into the allegation one by one and check if there was any infringement on the Constitution.
To judicial matters, the Supreme Court has ordered that the trial of former Jigawa Governor Sule Lamido, his two sons and others over alleged 1.35 billion naira fraud should continue before the Federal High Court in Abuja. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court issued the directive in 2 unanimous judgments in the 2 appeals filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The Supreme Court upheld the decision of the trial court, which dismissed the no-case submission filed by the Lamidos and held that the defendants had a case to answer. In the lead judgment of the Supreme Court, Justice Abubakar Umar set aside the July 25, 2023 judgment of the Court of Appeal and affirmed the earlier decision by Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, which overruled the no-case submissions by Lamido and others and ordered them to enter their defense. The FCC in the 37-count charge, among others, accused Lamido of abusing his position as a governor between 2007 and 2015, allegedly laundering sums of money received as kickbacks from companies that were awarded contracts by the Jigawa state government under his leadership. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal of the son of a former Jigawa state governor challenging the decision of the trial court, which convicted him of failing to declare $40,000 at an airport. In a unanimous decision, the panel at the Apex Court dismissed the appeal of Aminu Sule Lamido, the son of former Governor Sule Lamido, for lack of merit. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) arrested Aminu on December 11, 2012 at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport while preparing to travel to Cairo, Egypt. The prosecution said Aminu declared $10,000 to the Nigerian Customs Service, but was found with an additional $40,000, which was not disclosed on his currency declaration form. The FCC charged him before the Federal High Court in Kano on a 1-count offense of false declaration of foreign currency, contrary to provisions of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act. On July 12, 2015, the court convicted Aminu and ordered him to forfeit 25% of the undeclared sum of the federal government. Dissatisfied with the ruling, Aminu approached the Court of Appeal in Kaduna to overturn the conviction and set aside the forfeiture order in a judgment delivered on December 7, 2025. However, the Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal. There was panic among residents of Odokekere community in a Korodu local area of Lagos State following a building collapse in a local public school. The incident, which occurred on Thursday evening after school hours, sent fear into residents in nearby buildings who were jolted by a thunderous sound. The Lagos State Government Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools, while confirming the collapse, said the affected building was a classroom block in a bungalow. It, however, stated that no casualty was recorded as the building collapsed. The agency said classified information revealed that the classroom block had already been marked for demolition to construct a befitting classroom. It also disclosed that the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has ordered the immediate relocation of pupils to nearby schools. Staying with Lagos State, the nurses executives of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, have dismissed allegations that a director of nursing compelled nurses to make financial contributions for a retirement program and later diverted the funds for a birthday celebration. Director of Nursing Services at LUTH, Akinola Olajumoke, was accused in a report published by an online news platform of allegedly directing over 400 nurses to contribute between 5,000 naira and 10,000 naira each toward her retirement ceremony. The report further claimed that following a new federal government policy on retirement age, the planned retirement event was converted into a birthday celebration, during which more than 900,000 naira in cash was allegedly presented to her as a gift, separate from funds reportedly spent on logistics and other items. However, in a statement issued on Friday by the public relations officer of the LUTH Nurses Executive, Deborah Martins Akinlose, the executives denied the allegations, insisting that no nurse was threatened, intimidated, or subjected to administrative sanctions to make financial contributions. The group added that social or ceremonial activities within professional settings where they occur are usually voluntary, collective, and transparent, in line with established institutional practices. The nurses' body said the alleged conflation of a retirement program with a birthday celebration was misleading and capable of creating unnecessary tension, reputational damage, and public misunderstanding. Elsewhere, the Enugu State Police Command has confirmed that gunmen attacked a police checkpoint along Agbani Road on Thursday night, killing 2 police officers and setting a patrol vehicle ablaze. According to the command, the attack occurred on January 15, 2026, when suspected members of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, opened fire on operatives of the police, the Stress Response Squad, stationed at the checkpoint. The command spokesperson, SP Daniel Ndukwe, said in a statement on Friday that the criminal elements suddenly opened fire on the police team without provocation, adding that the operatives responded promptly, forcing the assailants to flee with varying degrees of gunshot injuries. Following the incident, the Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, CP Mamangiwa, ordered an intensified manhunt for the suspect, directing tactical and intelligence units to track them down and ensure their arrest. Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, in Niger State have rescued 2 pastors and a church member abducted by armed bandits in Kaduna State. The victims, Idi Buhari, Emmanuel Jacob, and Suleiman Adamu, were kidnapped on January 9, 2026 at the Gwangwangda area of Chikun local government area while traveling through Kugosi to Sirking Power in Niger State to officiate a wedding ceremony. Receiving the rescued pastors, chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states from the Federal Capital Territory, Joseph Hayab, said the victims were safely rescued from the bush by DSS operatives during ongoing security operations in Niger State. Hayab commended the DSS for what he described as courageous, timely, and selfless service to the nation, noting that the successful rescue brought immense relief to the church and families of the victims. He said the safe return of the abducted pastors had renewed hope that criminal elements could be defeated through sustained coordinated security efforts. Still to come. For the second time, popular Fuji musician Wasiu Ayinde writes to Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, alleging his exclusion from ongoing selection process of next Awujale of Ijebu. We'll bring you more on this on return.
The Korean War of 1950 to 1953